Hi, I'm Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and what I want to discuss with you today is that knowing the craft, both the technique as well as the technology side of things, really liberates you as an artist. So let me get into this. Now, this applies across all disciplines in the creative space, but I'm going to focus on filmmaking today, right? And a very specific example from my life is very recently, we were filming something from my second feature film, and we couldn't get the actress on the day that we needed her, right? And so what we did instead was we had a stand-in, okay? So we filmed, over the person's shoulder, her arms, her feet, things like that, and then we filmed what we call plates, meaning just blank the scenery, and then we would punch in the actual person later, right? Now, I know this was possible because A, many people have done it before me, and B, it's something that I've tested out myself, right? So a lot of this, whenever you learn a new technique, you want to try out in some small way just to play with it, right? And make sure it works. And then the other sort of thing that also worked was we were filming during golden hour, right? During the sunset. And because we were high up in the mountains, I had miscalculated how fast the sun, would disappear essentially. And, the beautiful thing about it is that through color correction, you can essentially recreate golden hour. So we had filmed a reverse of, seeing the sun and so forth. And then when we filmed the opposite way, we saw none of the mountains in that space. So we can make believe the sun is wherever, and you just color correct it to appear any certain way that you want, right? And so the point of all this is that you can do a lot. And when you have these tools in your tool bag, it really gives you the confidence and leverage to really create in a significant way, right? That's what all of this is about. And it really liberates you, right? Because when you operate from a place of fear of can I do this? Will this work out? You're not really being as creative as you can, right? You can't have fear and be creative, ultimately. The more you're stressed out, the less ideas are coming to you. And so the more of these things that you have in your toolkit, so to speak, the much more at ease you are because you can fix anything, right? In filmmaking, the best producers and filmmakers in general are ones that it just is all easy breezy. No matter what comes their way, they can handle it. And that applies to all disciplines. And, that's one of the reasons I call myself a 360 creative coach and why I really believe that it's not just the technical know-how, although that's what I'm kind of espousing right now. It also is about the mental side of things. None of this really works if you don't have the mental fortitude, because trust me, there will inevitably become a time where you are faced with a challenge that you have not yet faced. And so the true test of any person is not what they know, it's what they do when they don't know. So that's the other aspect of all of this, right? Is to, build up your toolkit as much as possible so that way whenever adversity comes your way, you have these fixes for it, if you will. And at the same time, if, one is not readily available that you know of, to be able to take a pause and know, okay, what's the procedure of which I'm going to look this up and solve this, right? And this includes, you can ask, you can ask the various people around you, right? Collaborators, mentors and stuff like that. You can look it up. You can read books. You can take classes. All these different things are available to you in those moments. It just depends on the situation. Obviously, if in filmmaking and if you're on set and something arises, you have a lot less time than if you're, just kind of doing something off on your own, well, let's say writing a book, right? Where you can take a pause and really figure something out, right? So it just depends on the situation, but the thought process of it all remains the same. And it all starts with being as prepared as possible. Failure to prepare is preparing to fail type of thing. And so really studying the craft in a meaningful way really puts this stuff in your toolbox, right? It gives you that confidence, that know-how to be able to create art in the way that you envision it versus making compromises for things that you would rather not. And so, it's about just having that humility to take your time, study, and continue learning, along the way. It's that old adage that, our education is the goal of a lifetime. So that's what I have for you today. Feel free to comment with your thoughts, opinions, questions, anything like that down below in the comment section, or hit me up on social media at Svitek. Likewise, if you would like to take anything further, being more direct in terms of me helping you and stuff like that, well, consider signing up for my Patreon page at patreon.com/PhilSvitek. There, I can have more in-depth, direct conversations with you, essentially. And also, if you just want to support me and the things that I do, all this is possible, and I know all this stuff because I do this stuff, right? And so, I've created books. My first movie is out and stuff like that. So if you want to go ahead and support that, it would mean the world to me because ultimately it helps support all of this. So thank you so much. I appreciate you and hope to see you next time.